Hey, how's it going, guys? So tonight we'll be talking about paintbrushes. One of my followers, Anna, she asked me to talk a little bit about paintbrushes. So basically, I'll cover everything I know about paintbrushes. So we got a fan brush right here. The only real thing I use it for is to like lift little hairs off your paintings, or little gook or muck or bugs or whatever. I'll use a little paintbrush and just be like, try to. This brush right here, this is a brush I use all the time. It's a filbert. That's the way it's shaped right there. And be sure to get as many sizes as you can. Depending on how big you paint, you want several. I usually I buy a lot of 4s. I buy a few 6s. And this one here is a 10, which is a nice size too. I actually even have a bigger filbert. Right there. So another brush here we have, it's an angle brush. You can see how the hair is cut at an angle. This brush is pretty fun. I use this to get into like little bits of detail and things like that. It's a very nice brush for edging, so you can like run an edge all the way across. Here's another thing I want to show you guys also, the different lengths of these brushes. Now the purpose is, why brushes are long, it's just so you can balance. Yeah, that one worked perfect. There we go, I'll show you that one. You can find like the perfect balance. Ooh. So anyway, you get the idea. Here, the reason they're short is, I guess, mostly because they're intended to like paint flat, like watercolor. So pretty much you can use this for watercolor and acrylic and things like that, and oil, obviously. So 3 different types of brushes here. So this is a sable, this is a synthetic, and they're both soft, and they both have. You definitely want a brush that has a spring to it, something that bounces back. Stiffer hog hair bristles, which I hate to imagine what part of the hog this came from. The stiffer ones are great for laying things in. The majority of times I'll use this brush anyway. Probably one of the most important things to consider about paintbrushes is this is what connects you to the painting. You'll see something through your eyes or maybe from your head, and it comes through your body, into your arm, into your hands, onto the paintbrush. And the paintbrush is what connects to the painting. So you definitely don't want to buy cheap brushes. You don't want to spend all your time trying to remove hairs off your painting. Yeah, so don't go cheap on your brushes. Paintbrushes too is you should always buy paintbrushes. You should, every time you go to the art store, grab a brush or two. Because brand new brushes, they're not that great. Brand new brushes, that's when they shed, so you start losing hairs when you have a brand new brush. And old brushes are practically useless. Old brushes, I use old brushes to mix paint. And then I'll take a nicer brush and actually do the painting with a nicer brush. So always, keep a rotating stock. You want something that's well worn, well broken in. So this brush is called a bright. It's just a square brush. I don't know why they call it bright, but that's what they call it. And I want to show you too, the thing about with brushes, when you load it up with paint, you don't have to go all the way to the top. It's not, this part of the brush, this is what holds your paint. And this part of the brush is what releases the paint. So you'll pull something across the surface, and it's pulling the paint down, and it goes right to the edge, and then it gets released. That's how the paint comes off these brushes. Now, to hold a paintbrush, people tend to hold things like pencils, which really you shouldn't. It's one of these things where public school train you to do things like hold a pen. I don't know. People hold pens differently, but this is not how you hold a paintbrush. You hold a paintbrush like it's a lit candle. Hold it like that. Make sure your arm is totally straight, so that way at least you're far enough away. And then you can just kind of paint away. About actually painting with a brush, it's not like where you start on the painting, it's where you end on the painting, and it's how you end your stroke. So, it's just a lot of practice, but you just want to kind of lift it out, very gradually lift it out. And if you ever need to remove paint off a painting, you can always go this way and just push it across and just lift it out and wipe it on your jeans. So that's how you pull paint off your painting. So talk about old nasty brushes to keep a rotating stock. So this is an oldie right here. So I just use this to mix paint with. If you could see, it's kind of jagged. It's not as smooth. These brushes, like I was saying, not to buy cheap brushes. This is something that happens with these damn brushes. I don't know if you can see that. It breaks there, so you can actually spin the thing. I hate that. That bothers me so bad. And also when it kind of wiggles, so it moves independently. Um, and I'm so cheap that I hate throwing brushes out. So what do? Go to the hardware store and I buy myself some plumber's epoxy. Plumber's epoxy is a two-part epoxy. You just kind of mush it together until it's like a uniform color, and you just pack it around that tip of the brush and let it dry. It's the best way to go if you're cheap and you want to hang on to your brushes a little longer, especially since the bristles are still good. I've also noticed too with my students is when they're working on a painting, they'll tend to want to stay in one spot and kind of just put that color on there. And it's called licking. So like if a dog hurt itself, it would constantly lick that same exact spot over and over. When you touch that part of the painting, you start removing paint. So ideally what you want to do is you want to mix your color, put it on there, check it, and if you nailed it, then just paint it on, and then you tie it on, and that's it, and don't touch it anymore. Leave it alone. Um, I've gone into things and wrecked it, just by going back into it. So really, just leave it like it is. So we can't have a lesson on brushes without explaining how to clean them. Do not go to an art store to buy turpentine. I don't know why people do. Do not, because you're just buying overpriced turpentine. Same deal. As long as it's odorless, you'll be all set. And hardware store, a lot cheaper than an art store buying this. So what I do with turpentine, I just use it to wash my brushes. I never until all the color is gone. Then you take it to the sink and you wash it with baby shampoo. You don't need to go to the art store for this stuff. This is all, hardware store, grocery store. So thank you for all the comments. I'd love some more. Please ask me questions, give me suggestions, like Anna with the paintbrush lesson. That was awesome. I'll be doing some composition lessons. I think I'm going to use some Goya etchings to show you some examples. But okay, guys. Well, I guess I'll bid you guys a farewell and a good night. Thank you for following me. Thumbs up if any information you found useful. All right, guys. Well, that's about it. And I love you all, and thank you so much. Mwah.